Hi guys, welcome back to Let's Play Pokemon XD Gale of Darkness. In the last part, we got to the Cipher Key Lair. And in this part, we're going to be going into Cipher Key Lair. Wait, where were the guard dudes that were here last time? Oh, there they are. I was like, well, what are these bodybuilder dudes not doing being here? Oh, hey, my TV's messed up, so they look like Iron Man. You can't see what it looks like, but they look like Iron Man, because, like, their faces are white with little white spots on their body, like in the shape of the Mark IV armor? The one from Iron Man 2. You probably have no idea what I'm talking about, so I'm just gonna shut up.
Hey, this is no place for a kid like you. No, can't let you in. Nope, you run along now.
Also, they sound like Jet the Hawk for some reason. You know what? I'm gonna go in anyways!
This is no place for a kid like you. Huh? Wait a minute. That weird machine on your left arm. You look sort of like that kid I saw on TV, but maybe not. Hey, kid, were you ever on TV?
Why, yes, I was. You might recognize me You might recognize me from such programs as, Honey, I Killed the Cipher. Oh, I was gonna do a whole joke about different TV shows with Cypher in it, but that's all I could think of. Darn you, short, long-term memory loss brain.
What? The kid taking the fight to Cypher is you? Well, what an opportunity. I'll knock you out and earn a promotion to admin.
Hold it there. Oh, hey, it's these guys. You know, the guys who were gonna help us, and now are. That kid's special. He's not anyone you lot can beat. If you know what's best, let him through without a fuss.
What? Don't make me laugh.
Hey kid, you let us handle things here. It wouldn't pay to make a racket. All it'd do is alert the guys inside the building. Hey, Walkin'.
Yo! Hey, you guys are from Team Snag'em. What do you think you're doing here? Gloom, hit him with sleep powder!
You know what they did to us, except now to them. That, my friends, is the very definition of justice. Good going, Walkin'.
Glad to be of service.
Now's our chance. You can wreck Cypher right now. Well, judging from the fact that we're missing so many Shadow Pokemon, I don't think this is the key layer. I mean, like this is the key layer, but the key layer, the final base of sorts, if you will. So I kind of want to talk about a few things this part, because I realized, well, most of my parts are just talking about, like, local ongoing things, like, you know how Star Wars Episode 7's coming out? Well, that's new, and that's, like, brand new. Also, these guys here I'm not going to talk to, because I can battle them. So we got a Hyper Potion. That's good. I think we're going to go left first, even though I know you have to go right.
Intruder detected, but it's just some kid.
If they're mandatory battles, I'll leave them in. As in, like, this is a mandatory battle because it happens automatically. But if it's just by talking to someone accidentally, then no. So I do want to talk about some things. The first thing I want to talk about is, just my experience with this game and where it first sort of came from, if you will. You see, it was, I'd say, let's see here, I'm in grade 12. So, around 6 years ago, roughly, around 6 years ago, was when this game, like, well, came out, number one, but was when I first sort of got wind of this game, and I guess I should go into this first. I do classify, like, my gaming, if you will, in terms of eras, because they do, they follow a pattern of, like, where I got my knowledge of a bunch of games from. The first one is, the first era, if you will, is just my early childhood one. So miscellaneous games, you know, like Pac-Man on the Game Boy, or E.T. on the Atari, which is actually my first game I ever played, which, when I thought about it for a while. So that was really, you know, that didn't do much for me, but it did lay the basis for the most nostalgic games, like, Three Little Pigs on the Atari. That was a big one. That was, like, one of the ones that my, at our old lake lot we would play. And so that was one that, we really, like, stuck with me. I remember it. I just remember there, for some reason, being a wolf blowing fire at the pigs. I thought that was so weird. So then after that came my, the next real, because I didn't get any game systems for a long time, but then after that came my babysitters, and that was around 11 to 9 years ago, somewhere in that range. And what happened there was, I had to go get a babysitter because of stuff going on in the family and crazy stuff that really is really personal, so we can't get into all of that. But I had to go to a babysitter's house, and this babysitter was like some 30-year-old, sort of almost like a foster mom person, the one who like adopts a bunch of kids and like that, And so what happened was, at her house she had, I think, 20 kids, and we, I wouldn't say we're tight, but I mean, we sort of knew each other enough. And one of the big things, though, was that she had a lot of game systems. Now, when I think back of probably the most influential, the thing that pushed me over the edge for gaming, I have to say it probably is, my babysitters. Because she had there, and I'm counting in my head, so I'm probably going to miss some, but she had an NES, a lot of them are dead. We should have probably healed. NES, N64, Genesis, and PlayStation 1. And I think there were more, but we just never played them. Because, I mean, those were big for us. And so there, I got to play some of the really big titles that, for instance, I never knew this at the time. I thought it was just like a fun game. We actually, 4-player, played GoldenEye when we were like 6. And I always hear stories about Feint Attack, that's good, yeah. We always hear stories about, let's get rid of, you know what, I don't need Fake Out. And I think I'm going to evolve him after this, because Feint Attack is kind of what Feint Attack does how much damage? 60, that's good, yeah. So we're going to get rid of Fake Out, and then we're going to evolve him after this. Because, I think that was the last move I actually wanted with him, so, yeah. It's like, I always hear stuff about, I love playing, this game on that system, and all these other people nostalgizing with it. And for most of them, I'm like, yeah, I know what you're talking about, but I really don't. It's like many of these games that people always talk about, playing and stuff, I never did, but I guess I sort of lie and say I did, because I listen to stories and stuff and pick up enough to know about it. That's really all my gaming knowledge, is just listening and picking up on stuff. So, then after that, what else was there? Well, there was also Spyro the Dragon 2 on the PS1, which was probably the only PS1 game that I really sat down and played through, and that was fun. If there's one PS1 game that I really want to get, it's that one. And that said, it's, my cousin has a copy, but he doesn't play games, and now he's in university, so I want to buy it off of him, but I think it'd be rude to just go and say, hey, you want to sell your PS1 games? Because I totally would buy them from him, but I think it'd be kind of rude, especially with family and such. But, so that's a major part of my, what else was there? There was a lot of games. Mario 64 we'd play every day. That was one we would play almost religiously, to the point of every kid playing the same file, just so that we can all collectively 100% it. We never did. There were some missions that we just could not do. And so, that was one thing. What else was there? Mario 3? I didn't play much of that. But I remember seeing Mario 3 and Mario 2 on the NES there for the first time ever. And it was really interesting, because at that time I had seen Mario World, played it a little bit. But it was really interesting going back to Mario 3. Why did I go to Realgam Tower? I really should pay more attention. What else was there? Mario Kart 64? That was fun. Oh, that was another one of those games that we all played together. I know I talked about this in the playthrough of it, but Sonic 2. That was one that we played there. There's this one kid with glasses. Don't remember his name, just remembered he had glasses. Short little, almost really short-haired cut kid. Don't remember his name. I remember what he looks like, though. And we'd play through Sonic 2 together. And I'd be Sonic, he'd be Tails. Or we'd switch off every once in a while, I think. And I just remember how we'd never get past Mystic Cave. Never. We'd get there, and that was about it. Mystic Cave was when we always stopped. So, that was kind of, that's why I said, I never saw Oil Ocean with my own eyes until I did my playthrough of it. Other than, a few playthroughs online and stuff, but that's crazy. For a game I played that much, to have an entire area of the game unexplored. I thought that was cool. What other games did we play there that were fun? There's this one caveman game on the Genesis. It wasn't a Joe and Mac or stuff. Oh, hey, what Togepi can be? Oh, Togepi can be purified. Actually, I'm gonna go do that, because that is something big that we can do. Also, I promised to evolve him, so I should. Where is it? Leaf Stone, Firestone. I had a Leaf Stone. Leaf Stone right there. And on Steve. There we go. Steve is evolving! Although the Pikmin jokes will have to end here. Now he's going to be Tengu Man. Or the Tengus from Okami, or... what other Tengu stuff is there? I don't know. He's also very, very short in this game, it seems. I know they're not that... Shift-Tri aren't that big, but they still seem really quite short. That said, it's a cool Pokemon. What other games? There was a lot of games. In fact, just my entire experience at that babysitter's place was great. I loved it. It was, because we had all these just friends there. And sadly, I couldn't go back for reasons and such with the family. Nothing crazy. It's not like I was touched or anything. No. It was just because we just didn't need it anymore. And so... I was kind of sad, because I would have enjoyed, well, we went there once and they were, they didn't really, well, I guess, no, they recognized me, but it just didn't seem very, like, there wasn't a big hurrah that I was back, so, I don't know, maybe it's a normal thing for kids to come and go, which is sad to say, but, whatever. I remember we used to play outside in the snow, and we'd always do that one thing where, like, those games where you pretend to be other people. And everybody, it was because Digimon Tamers was so big. I'd always say, no, I'm not Tanner. I want to be Henry from Digimon Tamers. And, so many memories of, that's one of those things where you get lots of memories from. Also, this guy, I don't know if you know this, but it's a bad egg. Like, I'm just calling it that. So that I can, because I'm just going to be traded. Take your bad egg back. What are you? A bad egg hacker person? I remember when bad eggs were, like, discovered, if you will, in Gen... What gen was it, even? It was Gen 3, where people would hack their games and then get bad eggs. That was crazy. People thought, like, oh my god, what have I done? What else was there? Then after that era kind of ended, after that came my early elementary era. And that was when I met my good friends, who, one of them I'm still good friends with is Jarek. I'm still good friends with him. He doesn't watch my videos, I don't think. I hope not. Actually, I kind of hope so, but I hope not at the same time. He's the type of guy who I'd understand if he watched it, unlike some of my friends who, if they actually watched it, I'd be very, very scared. Okay, so, number one, where is the guy that we... Right here.
Oh, hello. How's my Shadow Togepi doing? Oh, the Togepi in your party is my Togepi, isn't it? You finished its purification. Oh, thank you. I'm glad you're back to normal, Togepi. Now, may I have my Togepi back? I'm willing to trade you the Elekid I've been raising in return. Would that be okay?
Yes! This Elekid is so good. Oh my gosh.
Oh, great. Our trade's done. Please treat my Elekid with kindness, the way you did with my Togepi.
Now, I already know I have an electric type, but 2 electric types isn't that bad. Also, its name is Zeprong, which is a pretty dumb name. But look at these moves! You will not need to change moves on it for a long time. Ice Punch, Fire Punch, Thunder Punch, Cross Chop. That's amazing. That is like an amazing moveset. And I'm actually wondering, where do you get the experience share in this game? Because I kind of want it. Let me just Google this real quickly. Alright, so it turns out the experience share is actually obtainable at this point, which will be very helpful. Which I was surprised I didn't get before, because, it's kind of an important item, the experience share. It's one of the more pivotal items in Pokemon games. So you want to go back, now that we're back in Phoenix City, you can see everything's all happy again. The music's changed and everything's perfect. And come back here, mister. Come back here. You look like you have something to... Oh, okay, that's fine. That's fine. That's fine. I will intercept you. It's Super Come Running. I owe you my thanks. See? We have attained hero status. Oh, hey, what's that? Oh, hey, they just dropped the battle CDs. Well, that's perfect. I was expecting that they'd just be in things around. So I guess there really is no point to fighting them other than experience, which, It's kind of helpful if you think about it. Oh, hey, Mr. Oh, there's another battle CD. Oh, there's another item right there, too. Wow, look at all these battle CDs we will never use. Hello! No, what was it? Hello! Hello! Michael! So good of you to come. Our city was saved by your selfless actions. I sincerely thank you. This is a mere token of our appreciation. Please accept it. We got the experience share, folks. This item is my favorite item ever. Actually, I think it's so good. Now, think about it this way. Zaprong is level 20. With the experience share, he'll level up around the same rate, right? You know, roughly the same rate. But think about it this way. He also is traded. So that means he gets the boosted experience. Why I don't know. Okay, back to the story of my early childhood. So, I had two friends, Jarek and Carlos. Now, let's start with Jarek, because his story is shorter. I never had any game consoles as a kid. I had a Game Boy, and that was it. So, Jarek, in elementary, was the guy who would tell me all about his GameCube and PS1 and PS2 and all them. And he'd just tell me stories about the games, and they were awesome. I mean, the stories, yeah, they were made up. Yeah, I still don't forgive him for making up all those stories. What a nasty boy! It's so rude to come in uninvited! I will punish you in place of your mother! Geez, some of these are like really Freudian things to say to me. Ibsal. Thank you, Ibsal. Not to be confused with Absol. So Jarek would always tell me stories about, you know, like some of them were made up, but some of them were really cool, you know, and they were, they actually really did, like, intrigue me about games. And that was another one of those things where I'm like, you know, you learn and you just absorb games, and that's one of the things that I came from. Like, one of them was the Mega Man series. It wasn't until, oh god, how long ago was it, that I never even touched a Mega Man game. But, like, my first Mega Man game was a Battle Network game, but he told me all about the Classic and X series. And so, he completely, you know, just shared with me all this stuff, and I loved it. I loved it so much. Sadly, though, like I said, he did make stuff up. Like, he told me about a Marvel and Capcom crossover with Beautiful Joe in it, but it also had Dante in it. And nowadays, I look back and I'm like, wow, he sort of predicted Marvel vs. Capcom 3. But he also said Sonic, Link, and, who else did he say? It was Sonic, Link, and I think Master Chief, I'm pretty sure. Like, just some random people. He said, yeah, they're in it because it's called Capcom Fighting All-Stars, which turned out to be a real game or something, like Capcom All-Stars, Capcom Fighting Evolution, or some Capcom crossover that had a similar name, but, never got made. So that kind of happened and stuff. But my other friend was Carlos. Now, Carlos lived right beside me. And when I say right beside me, I mean, like, right beside me. He was 3 doors down, but, like, not in a straight line, in, like, 3 doors and go in a cul-de-sac. And so that happened. And, we'd always play, like, you know, he had games, but I was the kid with, like, all the Nintendo games. He was the kid with all, like, the M-rated games and stuff. So we each did get to play, like, the other type of games. So we sort of exchanged that stuff. Like, we didn't actually trade games. That comes later. Oh, that comes later. But we did sort of exchange our knowledge on games. And, I went over to his house all the time, and we played a lot of other games. Like, he had an N64, so we played Smash Bros. We played, what else on the N64? No, that was really it on the N64. But he had an Xbox. So we played a lot of Xbox games, mainly Halo 2. Which, to this day, is my favorite Halo for multiplayer, because of how I just love the style, and love the art, and love the everything of it. Well, then, actually, you know what, Halo 3, I prefer its multiplayer over Halo Reach, so, what you gonna do? I mean, what else did we do? So that was that. Now, that lasted a while, but then eventually Carlos became... he went into his gangster phase, and I'm not talking about, like, gangbanger gangster, I'm talking about, like, you know, Eminem and all those rapper, Eminem, 50 Cent stuff, and I really did not care about that at all. I mean, I was, the nerdy white kid, and there he was, you know, being the crazy brown rapper kid. And so we kind of separated at that point. But around that point too, I also met another friend. And this was probably my largest, and to this day, the saddest friendship that I ever had. And I always sort of hinted at this, but I never talked about it. His name was Georgie, and he was, at the time of my first LP, Pokemon Channel, he was still my best friend, but I was starting to lose him. And I think about halfway through that LP was when he just left my life. And I mean, we were best friends. I mean, there was no, like, you know, those connections that were like just the greatest connection. It was like every day of the summer I was at his house almost every day. It got to the point where my parents were mad that I wasn't home anymore. And so we would, you know, like, it started off, I went to piano lessons with his father. And it was good. I liked it. It was fun, but eventually the piano just kind of went away. And in its place came just me going to Georgie's house for him. And so we played through a lot of games and stuff. It's kind of sad though, and I know I'm getting into some personal stuff, but I shouldn't. But it did like affect me so closely that I feel like I should. And it was like, he was an only child. So, and his mother was, honestly, I don't know how this worked out, but his mother was one of the most, she was a model, but no, I'm not talking about like a sexy model, I'm talking about like one of those beautiful, beautiful model, like, people, and she was one of the most amazing, no matter what she was, like, in, she looked like one of those radiant people. She was amazing, like, and his father, though, was very, very old compared to her. It was interesting because he actually, while I was friends with him, his father passed away. And I think at that point was when we kind of stopped being friends. I just sort of felt uncomfortable being at his house after that point because of the fact that, you know, I was with him for a long time and, you know, his father was always there and we'd, you know, good times and bad. And it really did just feel weird that I was at this house where my friend's father passed away. And that really was the point where we kind of stopped, like, we were still friends, but just, it went away for a bit, you know. And to this day, I don't think there's ever been another thing that's made me as sad that I've lost a friend with, you know. Whenever I just think back about him, all I can think is, what would it be like if we were still friends? Although I do sort of think we were doomed to lose our friendship because of the move. I mean, it's crazy. I can't talk about this anymore. I will start crying about this crazy deep friendship stuff. But that's sort of like, that was a big era. And see what I mean when I said we'll get a lot of experience? Yeah. He's gonna level up like crazy. He's gonna easily be our strongest in no time flat. I failed to punish you! Oh my. So, that was, let's see here, so that was the elementary eras. After that came the junior high era. And the junior high era, which is called middle school in America, by the way, we call it junior high. I don't know, I've heard different things about, some people call it junior high, middle school. That era was different, though, because I moved to a brand new school. I knew nobody there. Well, I knew one person, but that one person was only there for a year. And by the time we, you know, I kind of said hello and everything, the year was over and she was gone. And it took me a while, but I did find some friends, and my friends really did. There was more of the openness, you know, with the gaming, it seemed. There was just not one or two people who played games. It sort of felt like everyone played games, just not to the crazy extent that Carlos and Jarek did. And so, I made quite a few friends there. Each of them sort of had a different specialty, if you will. My one friend, Nathan, you might know him from, the final few parts of the Great Maze in Smash Bros. He was a big PC and Xbox gamer. He was the, you know, he fully supported Microsoft, let's just say that. And so through him, that's where I sort of played the PC and Microsoft games, by going to see him. I had a friend, Nick, and he was a big PS3 gamer, and so through his house I got to play a lot of the PS3. I had a good friend named Joe, and through him I got to play a lot of classic games. I had a friend, Matheson, who I just sort of played everything, really with. And Matheson still watches my videos. He always comments and stuff, and he's one of the few people that, I can just say, cheers, bro, and just, I want to fist bump and all that. But, yeah. So my middle school era, well, definitely not as prominent as my, other eras in terms of memories. Also, humor. Not human, humor. It's definitely not as big in terms of the memories. Like, there are still memories, but it's just not as, I have more memories of when I was younger, which is funny. And then after that, I guess once I reached high school, it sort of then turned into the classic era. Because even in junior high, I started dabbling in emulators. And I sort of learned that classic games are honestly, like, modern games are cool and stuff, but there's not enough to keep you constantly amused, if you will. Like, they don't come out enough. Well, with the advent of learning about classic games and emulators, I entered the classic era, which is, funnily, it's the newest era, where I really do just want to get as many sort of modern, like, no, not modern, I want to get as many classic games as I can. So that's where I kind of reached, where it's the point of I almost get more joy out of discovering a good old game than playing a new game. I still love new games, but that joy of discovering an old one, that's still there, and I still love that feeling. Like, for instance, I'm getting, like, a few classic games in the, through the post soon. And so, I'm just gonna have so much joy playing through these games that I never got to play, because I never had a PlayStation, or PlayStation 2. I had a GameCube, and then I had a Wii. And then once I got the PS3, that did open up a lot of doors for PS3 and PS1. But it wasn't until, a long time that I thought, well, I guess I should maybe start looking for PS1 games, And so that's what I did, and that's what I'm doing constantly, going to garage sales and trying to find all these crazy game stuff, that I can find for cheap that people don't know about, and that's sort of where I am now, where it's no longer about the buying, Wii games that are a little bit older. It's now about finding older games that are, make me feel. Also, Shadow Paris. I was not expecting a Shadow Paris. I don't like Paris. Design-wise. I think you know why. I mean, it's funny, actually. It's like one of the... Something like an older thing in my videos was me and my mycophobia, fear of, funguses and mushrooms and stuff. And then it just sort of disappeared for a while. I never really brought it up because I really didn't need to. But it's still there. I mean, I'm still horrified of fungi and mushrooms and all that. And I mean, it's one of the more logical ones because I hate this idea of, like, infections and body horror and, like, stuff like that. That's more of a... Like, that's a justifiable fear, if you ask me. There are some non-justifiable fears, Fear of heights, that's very, justifiable. But, I don't know, fear of... I don't even know. Oh my god, my 3DS poster fell. I got another 3DS swag from my friend Carson. Well, no, I mean, just another, like, store swag. He keeps buying me all this awesome stuff, like the Pokemon stand that I have all my games on and stuff, and it's like... dude, you don't have to get me all this, but I'll take it. I mean, I love it. I think my room, he's, because there's no room in his room. And I love having, gaming paraphernalia. And the reason I think it's still to this day, gaming is a bit of a social taboo. A bit. I'm not saying fully. It's still a bit of a social taboo, to talk about. Because it does have still have these preconceived notions of fat white kids and stuff, and... I think we've reached the point where gaming has turned... It sort of went like movies, where it's now almost at a common media that we can all talk about. Because, I mean, almost everybody my age has at least one game system and plays games. Now, to what extent they play games is completely different. I mean, you have the few people who have the Wii, and they can do Wii bowling. That's it. Then you have the hardcore gamers, and I think it's sort of like movies too. How you can sort of go from one, you can have moviegoers who like, oh, I saw the new Harry Potter, it was pretty good. And then you can go all the way to, oh, I saw, this classic movie, and I'm gonna examine it. Oh god, I had one friend on Facebook today, because I guess I shouldn't be talking about the whole news stuff thing. I'm trying to get away from that. But Star Wars Episode 7 was announced today, like a few hours ago. And I wrote on Facebook saying, what do you guys think, yay or nay? And this one guy, Leeson, that's his name, by the way. I don't care, you don't watch these videos, so suck it. And he was all like, oh, it's a complete disgrace because oh wow, 2 Shadow Pokemon. Ladies and gentlemen, we've reached the point where they have 2 Shadow Pokemon now. It's gonna start to get worse, so I'm gonna be honest here. And so, he was like, Star Wars Episode 3 was some of the worst thing I've ever seen. And I'm like, you're only saying that because you watched the Red Letter Media review, and any movie, when examined deeply, will suck. Any movie. It's like, it's not even, yeah, you might not like the movie. But at the same time, it's not one of those, oh my god, such a 2 out of 10 movie. It's not a 2 out of 10 movie. It's 4 out of 5. I mean, it's it's an 8 out of 10, 7 out of 10 maybe, even 6 out of 10 if you're feeling really cruel. And it's like, you can't, anything when over-examined is gonna suck. Anything. Unless you're over-examining it for, religious symbolism and stuff. That's fun. Oh, that's one of my favorite things to do, is religious symbolism. That's so... You can get some crazy stuff with religious symbolism, That's gonna bring out Tropy, because I don't want Shift Try to die. Even though I'm gonna have to heal after this again. I'm gonna have to do that every freaking match. Sound like Patrick Star. But, what was I even talking about? No! Growlithe fainted! I didn't even look and see that I killed him! Well, also, I need nicknames. If you want to send nicknames. But, I guess we're gonna need to get it back. A good thing Mirby has no Pokemon right now, that I can need to get. So, but, that's gonna about do it for this part. Yeah, that's about it for this part, guys. Half hour of ranting about my childhood? Why not? I actually really did enjoy this part. This part was one where I really just spewed. I laid down the knowledge. Laid it down like a bass named Billy. I have one of those. I will see you guys next time on Let's Play Pokemon XD Gale of Darkness, where hopefully we can, get through the first floor of this place without having to fight 30 people. I don't think there's many more. I think the first one's the worst. He lied. I'll see you guys next time. Ciao.